The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. Wow, this is the biggest audience we've had so far with our webinar, so it's exciting. Welcome to you all. My name is Henry Suarez. I'm the product manager for 3D Cart. Now, many of you have probably interacted with me before on our forums or maybe one of the other webinars I've done, so welcome again. With me today is Joe Palco. He's our Chief Marketing Officer, and he'll be helping me with some of the questions later on in the presentation. Also amongst us is Jimmy Rodriguez. He's our Chief Technical Officer, who will be on hand to answer any questions you may have during the presentation. So feel free to ask away in the question section of the GoToMeeting interface, and Jimmy will try to answer while we're in broadcast. So for today's presentation, we want to discuss how daily deals can help you market your stores and help increase your sales. We introduced the daily deal function with the new version 4 of the software, but not many people considered its use or had any direction on how it can be used on their store, so that's what we'll be talking about today. So for our brief overview, what we'll be discussing today is, basically what daily deals are, some of the benefits you can see in running the daily deals, some of the things that you can take care of when setting up the deals, and some thoughts to put into setting up the deals. Up next, presenting the deals, some of the thoughts you may want to consider for that. And finally, I'll leave you off with some final thoughts and some tips and tricks that you may want to try when doing the daily deals. So first on our agenda here is, why should you consider a daily deal offer? Well, to answer that, I want to use an analogy I've used before, and I call it the Sunday circular effect. Now, I have a strong background in retail sales, so from my retail experience, I use this analogy. Every Sunday in the newspaper, people will get these circular ads in their Sunday paper. This is where the big retail box chain stores will showcase their items on sale for the week with the hopes of drawing attention to their stores and traffic to the stores. Now, from a retail store perspective, they experience an increase in their Sunday traffic. In my experience, I've seen people actually lining up at the store on a Sunday shortly before the store opens just to get a first crack at that deal. Secondly, they can also see a steady flow of traffic throughout the whole week, especially when it comes to electronic stores that may sell media. For example, music and movie media, usually the new releases are on Tuesdays, where video games are on a Wednesday. So they'll advertise that in their Sunday circulars and kind of guarantee a steady flow throughout those days. And then when all is said and done at the end of the week, they see a higher return on their investment based on these adverts. Now, that's just from the retail store's experience. Now, from the consumer's point of view, retail stores have been doing this for so long that the consumers are kind of conditioned to, one, actively seek the ads. They actually will reach for those sections of the newspaper before reading the news or even doing a crossword. They'll go for these ads first. I've seen it where people actually buy a newspaper just for those ads because they're the bargain hunters of the family. So they are conditioned to actively seek the ads. They feel a sense of urgency. As I mentioned, they're lined up at the front of the store on a Sunday morning ready to get first crack at that deal. So they have that urgency. I better get down there before it sells out. And last but not least, when they're in the store, they're more likely to offset their savings with additional purchases, especially if they're related to the item on sale. For example, if it's a $20 Blu-ray player, they might use those savings for a couple of movies to go along with it. Now, with an online daily deal, the whole concept started with sites like Woot, redtag.com, and a few others. And basically what these sites do is they offer one deal a day, and that's their whole business model. Usually they're selling either refurbished or discontinued items, so they can afford that discount. Excuse me. So they can afford that discount, but it's not to say that the items are bad. It's just, they're refurbished. So they buy them in bulk from the distributors and sell them at a greatly discounted rate. But when you really think about it, it's essentially the same concept as a Sunday circular. However, these stores see faster conversions because they're online. They see a similar sales percentage increase throughout their whole week because they're doing, instead of a whole store in one day, they're doing, a few different items throughout the whole week. So they see a similar sales percentage for their business model. But more importantly, they'll foster return visits. I personally go to woot.com every morning as I'm having coffee just to see what's on sale because they update so regularly. So in a sense, it's the same concept. And before you think that it's something that only applies to small to medium businesses or refurbished items, you should also consider that even the giants are starting to adopt. For example, Target now has dailydeals.target.com where they do the same type of commitment. Walmart has Value of the Day. Sears has Deal of the Day, which is a similar name. And last but not least, Amazon. They have their Gold Box deal. Every day they have a brand new item for a greatly reduced price. So here are some of the potential benefits you can see with having a daily deal on your site. First, there's an increase in traffic and hits. More people will be curious to see what you have, so they'll be more likely to come to your site. Secondly, you get to foster those repeat visits, especially if you're doing a daily deal that updates on a regular basis. Thirdly, you see an increase in your sales potential, as well as moving product much faster than you normally would. Rather than selling 100 units of an item throughout the whole week, think about selling 150 in the span of a day or two. You move the product faster. And lastly, and perhaps more importantly, it increases your exposure for social media. It's so easy these days for someone to share a link via Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, email. It's essentially the same thing as cutting out that newspaper clipping and giving it to a friend who might be looking for a stereo. So when adding deals to your site, here are a couple of points to consider, and these are points that we considered when we created the functionality into the 3D cart store. First, you want something that's easy to use. After all, the basic point of all of this is to update it regularly, so you want something that's easy to use and it's not cumbersome by any means. Secondly, you want something that somewhat ties to your inventory control because, heaven forbid, you oversell your product that you have on sale. And lastly, you want something that's customizable. The reason I say that is because when it's customizable, you can control the absolute look and feel of the site, of the Daily Deal site or the Daily Deal page, however you need it to be. It could either reflect your existing pages, or you might have a different concept for it altogether, but you want something that's customizable so you can control that. And more importantly than that is the SEO and marketing aspects of the customizations. You want to have full control over your SEO so that you can have the Daily Deal page be marked on searches as much as possible. So as I mentioned, we try to make it as easy as possible. So adding your deal is as simple as adding the item, fill it to the brim with all of the descriptions and the pictures and everything that you need to. I'm going to pause for a second here, but one thing I really recommend for setting up a daily deal is do not skimp on the information or images as much as possible. As I mentioned, I frequent woot.com a lot, and one of my biggest annoyances with them is that it's usually just the one picture that they show, and doesn't leave much for education as far as what the product is like. I'll get more into that in a moment. So after you set up your product and you have your product all ready for a deal, then it's just a simple matter of enabling the deal, specifying the deal price, any additional items that may come with it, for example, free shipping. Grab the 3D cart widget for your deal so that you can point to that page. And after you're all said and done, there's your deal. It's ready to go. After it's live, it's up to you to also market the deal. And that's real easy to do simply by going through the social media channels. If you have a Facebook page or a Twitter account for your store, just simply upload the link to it. Hey everyone, check out this great deal that I've got going. You want to have that exposure through there, and the social media channels is the best way to go. Secondly, take a look at some of the deal aggregate sites. There's a few out there. The two that I mentioned here are yipit.com and nexttag.com, and basically what they do is they show listings of all the daily deals at any given moment on the internet. So look into submitting your deals through those. And lastly, look at some of the already established deal provider sites. For example, deals.woot.com is Woot's version of a community deal, and they'll accept deals that you submit to them. So look into that as well. Slickdeals.net is another one as well. So when you're setting up the deals, These are a couple of unique ideas you may want to consider. For example, you may not want to have a deal tied specifically to your store. Maybe you want to have it in a different format, maybe a different look or something like that. So here's a couple of ideas to consider. One, maybe consider an alternate domain presence. When I was researching for this webinar, I found these two sites, waycheap.com and way2buy.com. And they're essentially deal-a-day sites for whey protein products. That's all they sell. Every day they have a brand new bodybuilding whey protein type product for sale. What was interesting about them, though, aside from their creative names using the word whey, is if you were to click on the red put it in the bag button for waycheap.com, you're taken to their parent site, which is bodybuilding.com. Same thing with the snag it button here on way2buy. That takes you to their a1supplements.com, which is the parent site of it. This is an interesting approach to it. There's a couple of different advantages you can see to it. Basically, you have a different web page altogether that showcases just your deal products. So here are some of the advantages. First, you can focus on a few products at a time. For example, those two supplement sites, that's all they sell, and there's a lot of supplements out there. In this way, they're able to focus on just a few of their products at a time. Secondly, it's easier for them to track their traffic and their conversion data because it's coming from a different pipeline, if you will. And thirdly, it offers them the ability to service the niche market, provide niche goods. Again, there's a lot of supplements out there, and these guys are selling just the whey protein products. So it allows them to just kind of corner that market a little bit better. Another idea you may want to consider is the use of a subdomain. Now, with a subdomain, that's actually a better idea, in my opinion. That's an example where you have something like something.yourdomain.com. dailydeals.target.com is an example. Another one is deals.tigerdirect.com. Another example. Something.yourdomain. The reason I say it's a better solution, in my opinion, is simply because you have the three advantages you get with an alternate domain presence, but in my opinion, it's a little bit better for name recognition. It's much easier for me to remember dailydeals.target.com belongs to Target than to remember which of the whey sites goes to bodybuilding.com. I think it's Waycheap goes to bodybuilding.com, but it's easier for name recognition. Not to mention the fact that a subdomain is also free to set up. You just go to your registrar, whoever that may be, set up the C name and point it to the IP. You're all set. No additional charges at all. So when you're setting up the deal, there's basic necessities you'll need. You'll need something that displays the item, obviously. You'll need something that displays the sale price, and you also want to have something with product details. Again, I can't stress this enough. Add as many details as possible to the deal, to the deal item. The more educated people are, the more likely they are to buy. I personally don't buy anything online unless I read reviews or am very, very well versed on what the product is. Obviously, a buy now button is also a necessity. Now, here's some ideals that you want to look for that we also include. Social media buttons. The whole point, it's a marketing tool, so you want something that helps you market it. Social media buttons like the like it button or the send, the Facebook send button, or even the Google +1 button. Something that allows people to add it and email it easily right away. You want to have that. You also want to show the percentage off. In my opinion, it's a little bit better than just having a flat rate of what's discounted. Sometimes you may not realize that, when you see a certain price, you may not realize that it's actually 40% off, and that might drive that sale a little bit better. You also want to have a countdown timer on the deal. To me, that is the epitome of adding urgency to the deal, especially when it gets towards the end of the deal offering and people just see that little countdown timer ticking and ticking and ticking. Just get that urgency going so that they can purchase it right away. And last but not least, whenever you can, showcase your related items. Now, going back to the retail analogy that I used earlier, retail giants do the same exact thing. That $20 Blu-ray player that I had mentioned earlier, when you get to the store, you're going to see the Blu-ray player. Hopefully it's still in stock. But when you get there, it's going to be surrounded with movies that you can purchase along with it. Other examples, if it's a camera that's on sale, don't think that the retail giant isn't going to showcase some of their camera bags and straps and lenses and all sorts of things with that camera. You might as well use the same concept for your store. Showcase your other items so that it draws attention to, hey, I also have these products as well. In a lot of cases, those related items is what maximizes your profit potential, so that's probably the most important ideal to look for. So if you decide to do a daily deal, I have a couple of strategies you may want to consider for when you start doing them. First of all, you'll be moving product at a much faster rate, especially if you're doing deals on a regular basis and they really take off. You'll be moving that product much faster. You can also use that to increase your purchasing power with your manufacturers and distributors. If they suddenly see that you're selling 100 plus items more than you normally do, and you're doing it in the span of just a couple of days, they might be more apt to give you quantity discounts where you can get more products for less and still maximize your profit potential. You could also use this to move older, refurbished, and discontinued items a little bit more effectively, which is basically the same model that places like Woot take for that. Prime example, a few days ago, HP, they gave up on the touchpad, and it went from being a $350 item to $99. It was discontinued. They offered no more support on it, but the second that touchpad went down to $99, you're lucky if you can find it anywhere online. No retail store carries it anymore. They're all sold out. Everyone is sold out for the $99 deal on it. More importantly, not just the touchpad is out of sale, but also all of the accessories that go along with it, the keyboards, the cases, those are all sold out as well. So use the daily deals to help move your products faster and get rid of that one product that just sits on that shelf forever and ever and doesn't move. Also use them to leverage your interest, or leverage people's interest in your site. For example, I had mentioned the related items and cross-merchandising. That's of the utmost importance. Use that because you also want to showcase, hey, I have this great deal, but by the way, I also have these products that you may be interested in. Again, I refer again to the retail experience. People will be more apt to buy something if they saved a lot on the item. They'll buy related items for it. And also, use some of that interest in your site to encourage newsletter subscriptions. We have a merchant who, in particular, uses daily deals. And I recently visited his site, and he has a rather interesting email subscription form that he customized for his daily deal page, which basically says, would you like to know about more upcoming deals? That way he gets a whole ton of subscribers for that, and just increases his potential customer base. So use that interest to your advantage. So some final thoughts before I leave you to your daily deals. First and foremost, I expect everyone to start slowly. I don't really expect anyone just out of the gate to start offering one single deal every single day. It's possible, but if you don't feel comfortable with it yet, start off slowly. Instead of a deal a day, maybe do a deal one day of the week, just for that one day, or maybe a deal a month. However you see fit, whatever is more comfortable for you, just start off slowly until you're more comfortable with the whole process. Whatever you decide, though, update it regularly, because what you want to do is you want to make sure people recognize you as a merchant who is updating their deal offerings often, and they'll come to your site more often as you update the deals. Again, I go to woot.com every single day, not because I have money to burn and I have all sorts of electronics equipment lying around my house, but it's just really basic curiosity. What's on sale today? Offer fair and attractive deals. Now, by fair, I mean try to make it fair for yourself as a merchant. Some of our merchants actually will do daily deals and take a loss on the item. I'm not a big fan of that. I come from the school of thought that any profit is a good profit. So by that, I refer to offering a fair deal, as long as it's fair to you. Some of our merchants who take a loss on the item, they counter it because their logic is, well, I would be spending this for marketing anyway, so I'm counterbalancing that. That's fine. If that works for you, that's perfect. I'm a little bit more comfortable with making a profit regardless of what it is. So offer a fair and attractive deal, and the attractive part is you want people to obviously buy it. Give plenty of information. I've harped on this before, and I'll harp on it again. Give as much information about the product as possible. Again, Woot has, the annoyance I have with Woot is that sometimes I have to go through other pages to read reviews or descriptions of the product, so I'm not entirely sure. The few times that I've bought things, I see such a great price and my first initial thought is, what's wrong with it? So give as much information as possible. If it's something that's refurbished, make sure you mention that so that there's no surprises at the end. But most importantly, whenever you decide to do your daily deals, don't be afraid to have fun with it. For example, when I mentioned starting off slowly, if you pick one day of the week to do sales or a daily deal sale, name it something fun, you know, like a Monday Madness or sales on Saturday or something like that. Just make it fun for everyone to come to your site to purchase the deal. Woot, again, they're the granddaddy, so I go back to them a lot. Woot had a rather interesting technique that they did a few weeks ago where on the main deal page, rather than a description, which I had hoped they had a story. And at the end of the story, it was kind of one of those choose-your-own-adventure books that I read when I was a kid, where it was link 1. If you want to talk to person A, click on link 1. If you want to talk to person B, click on link 2. And depending on which link you clicked, you were taken to another deal. I must have spent a half hour on their site just messing around with all the different choose-your-adventure type things. It was obvious they had fun writing it. I had a lot of fun reading it. So don't be afraid to have fun and let your customers have fun with you. So as I mentioned, everything is built into the store, and that's probably the best part about the 3D cart offering for it. It's ready to go right outside the box. So if you have a site right now and you're interested in doing a daily deal, don't worry about it. It's already built in. Go ahead and do it. This is an example of what it will look like. We try to design it in a very universally pleasing way for everyone so that it matches all of our templates as best as possible. So it's already built in there. And if you're interested, we also recently updated one of our design offerings where we also designed the daily deal pages for you. It's an offering we have now. We'll do the page itself. We'll also do the widget. Anything you want it to look like. If you decide to do a different site with deals only, that's a perfect example. If you want to just have the deal on your existing site, but you want it to have a different look and feel, this is a good example as well. You can get more information for that on the 3dcart.com e-commerce daily deals.html page. Here's another example of the deal watcher page that we have for you. That's just an example of what's possible with the daily deal. As I mentioned, it's 3D cart, so it's highly customizable to however you want it to be. And basically, to get to that page, you just go to our main page, click on the services, e-commerce web design, and daily deals, and you'll be able to see the information there. So looks like we have a couple of questions that have come in. Joe, I'm going to hand it off to you. If you can read them off to me, I'll see if I can answer anything.
Sounds good, Henry.
What you got for me?
Okay, let me see here. We've got on the way examples. I noticed big add to cart buttons on both sites. Is it possible to set different add to cart buttons for the daily deals?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the best things about 3D Cart. It's really customizable, so we can definitely do something like that for you. Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, it's real easy to do just for the daily deal pages inside. So yeah, definitely possible.
Okay, one of the other questions that we had here was, what is the difference between daily deals and what's that? What is that, Henry? You know what I'm going to say. It came off the screen here.
Let Let's see. I'm not seeing the questions here, but
Group deals. Group
oh,
deals.
daily deals.
What's the difference between a daily deal and a group deal? I'm
Oh,
sorry about that.
It's really easy. They're essentially they're pretty much patterned around the same basic logic. And again, the whole backbone of a daily deal is nothing more than a marketing tool, because you're drawing attention to your store. Instead of just doing one item that you ever sell one day, you also have a whole store to back it up to kind of draw people to it. Retail giants do the same thing. Once you're in that store, they'll have flashier things around that one sale item to get you attracted into buying it. So the difference between group deals and daily deals, they both have the same basic concept, but the group deal also offers the illusion of quantity to the mix. Basically what I'm saying is, let's say you have a widget A that's on daily deal. It sells for 50% off. That's just one item per customer at a time. Whereas if it was a group deal, you would have something on there that says, I have to sell 50 of these before I'll honor the bargain. What that does is it draws that one customer to share the link with all of his friends. And, you know, instead of one customer, you have 5 all of a sudden. And the next customer gives you another 5, the next, and so on and so forth. So it's sort of the same concept as a marketing tool, but it also adds that quantity to the mix. Same urgency, but with a quantity where you're downright expecting them to share it with their friends. So that's basically the idea behind it.
Okay, we've got a whole load of questions here.
Okay.
How do you recommend that we showcase the daily deal? On the front page, categories, etc.?
Well, I've been playing around with the idea of having an extra page on the site that you link through a menu. That way, at the top of your site or on the side, however your template has the menus listed, you always have one link for daily deals or special deals or however you want to refer to it. So I'm kind of a fan of that. Homepage is a good idea also. That way when people first get to your site, they see the deal widget there. But either one. I like the idea of having an extra page more, simply because it gives you a little bit more unique SEO capability to it. You can tailor your SEO just for that extra page that just happens to have your widget on it, and you can use that to your advantage.
Okay, how can I make the deal on my home page larger?
On the home page, well, the widget we have uses images for the deal of the day banner, but you can substitute that with a different image if you'd like and edit the template. With our daily deal offering and also group deals, there's 4 different templates that are in control of everything. There's 2 for each individual widget, one for the group deal, one for the daily deal, and then there's 2 templates for the actual listing page. So if you're referring to your home page, I'm assuming you're talking about the widget. If it's a daily deal, I believe it's called dd_widget.html. That's the name of the template. The other one is gd_ for group deal _widget.html. You just edit those and reference a different picture if you'd like and have it appear larger.
Is there a charge for daily deals?
For daily deals, no, not at all. It's built into the system. The only limitation that I believe there is if you have one of the smaller accounts, I think you can only do one or two deals at a time, like deal items. But as far as the functionality, it's built into the system itself, so it's ready to go if you have a 3D card store right now.
Would you recommend daily deals for stores that have low average inventory levels?
Excellent question. No, I wouldn't, because you'd be running out of inventory rather quickly. So it may be something that you might not be able to afford to take too much of a loss on. What I would do is concentrate more on getting more inventory. If you plan to do a daily deal, see if you can get more of one individual product. Because again, it's a marketing tool. You want to use it to draw attention to your store. So, you know, if you can, grab one product that you can stockpile a little bit of so that you have a larger inventory of, and then offer it for a deal. Maybe it won't be a daily deal at that point. Maybe it'll be like a 2-day sale or something like that.
Where can we get more information on how to set up the daily deals?
Actually, excellent question. That'll segue me into this next slide here. We have KDs and guides on setting them up in our support portal, which is support.3dcart.com. Just do a search for daily deals and group deals, and you'll find the PDF guides. It's pretty extensive. It's actually a very easy process to go through. It looks overwhelming when you first look at it, especially if you're looking at it from screenshots in the guide. But once you get the hang of it, it's fairly easy to do. While we're on this page with the different links here, I just want to go over some of them here. Obviously, the 3D cart page, the support portal. I also want to give a little bit of a shout out to the forums. If you're currently a 3D cart user and you're not part of the forums, you're really missing out, and I highly, highly recommend it. I try to spend as much time as I can in the forums, and I'm almost every time I'm there, I'm impressed with the level of expertise our users in the forums have. It's great. It's a great repository for information. It's made up of merchants that have not only been 3D cart merchants for a while, but they've been e-commerce merchants in general for a long time. So these are your peers, and they're experts in what they do. So I highly recommend that. And the last link on there is our YouTube channel on YouTube. We're recording this particular presentation, so expect to see that on here as well. So you got any other questions there?
Sure. If I add a daily deal page to my site, can I add a countdown timer to it, or is that for a separate page?
Well, the countdown
I think
time.
what that means, Henry, is the widget contains the countdown timer, correct?
No, actually, they both do. The widget and the listing page both have the countdown timer on it.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you pre-schedule deals? Say several in a row. Is there a department setting that will auto-publish to your Facebook using a Facebook integration?
It sounds like two questions in one. The first part.
Two questions.
The first part, yeah, you can sort of schedule them. As I mentioned, the lower accounts, you can only have one deal at a time, but you can schedule it ahead of time so that when it doesn't activate until midnight the next day, or however you set it up. For the higher end accounts that we have, where you can literally have an unlimited amount of daily deal items in store, what some of our merchants have been doing is they've been basically planning their week with daily deal offerings. So at midnight when it expires, it comes back in.
Excellent. I can keep giving you some more, Henry. We have a whole load of questions here, actually, and I recommend anybody who has a question just submit it to us, because we'll answer them even if we don't do it, orally. Yeah, definitely. The GoToMeeting software is actually excellent because it actually records all the questions. So if we can't get to anybody right now, just for lack of time, we'll get the questions afterwards, and we'll make sure to get them answered. I believe there was a second question to that earlier one, something about Facebook. I'm not quite sure I followed. Yes, it was. Is there a setting that will auto-publish to Facebook using the Facebook integration?
Not for a daily deal, unfortunately. That may be something that we're going to plan for. But if the daily deal item itself, let me back up a bit. When you set an item as a daily deal, the item itself never really changes. All that really changes on it is the listing template for it. And also the store considers it as quote-unquote on sale. So let's say on your 3D cart integration with Facebook, with your Facebook page, you have widget A as part of the product that is shown on your Facebook store. When it's set as a daily deal, it'll say it's on sale on Facebook. It won't mention anything about the deal offering. It won't have the timer, unfortunately, but it still will show the price and that the fact that it's on sale. And when they click through to it and land at your page, they'll see the deal listing page that's used for it. So it's a yes and no answer, I'm afraid, for that question.
Okay.
I think we got time for just one more, but like I said, we'll grab all these questions and make sure they get answered. You got one more there?
Sure. Sure. Where in the admin panel do we click to find Design the Deal page?
Well, that's going to be in your template section. So in the admin panel, I don't have a browser directly in front of me, so let's see if I can do this from memory. From the browser, you go to Settings, Design, I believe. I'm sorry, Settings, General, and Design. I may have to re-quote myself on that one. But anyway, it's in the Design section. You'll see a template editor. And the Daily Deal templates and also the Group Deal templates, they're located in the Common folder. So just look for, let's do the widgets first. The widgets are dd_widget.html. That's for the Daily Deal, DD. There's gd_widget for the Group Deal. Those are the widgets. Then for the listing portion of the deal, there is listing_dd for dailydeal.html and listing_gd for the Group Deal. Now, again, I don't have a browser directly in front of me, so I'm just doing this from memory. I may have reversed those, so if you can't find dd_widget, try widget_dd, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. All right, so
I believe it's dd_widget.
Is it? Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, do we have time for one more, Joe?
Sure. Let me find one here for you.
Sure, sure, sure.
Is there a way? So I guess basically saying when the first deal sells out, is there another way to make the next deal start immediately?
Sounds like your audio messed up there, but I think you were asking if once the deal expires, if it goes on to the next one. I think that's
inventory. If the inventory runs out of the first deal, will it go on to the next one?
It should. I have not tested that out, to be honest, but I'll definitely test it out right after this and get an answer to that.
Okay.
All right. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. As I mentioned, I'm sorry we couldn't get to every single question. I'm sure there's plenty more. Like I said, this is the largest audience we've ever had, and it was awesome. So I want to thank you all again, and if you need any help, by all means, give us a call. We're here 24/7. If you're interested in the design aspects of daily and group deals, give our sales guys a call. They can help you out with that, and we're here to help you. And we really want you to use this because we honestly do feel that it's a great way of marketing your site. Drive that traffic, and it's no different than emulating what the big retail giants have been doing for many years, and it's worked very well for them. We just try to apply it in an e-commerce environment, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. There's still, I'm sure we can tweak it as we go along, but the way it is right now, it can be a very useful tool, and I think you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you got a little bit out of this, and if you ever need us, by all means, give us a call, and we'll try to help out wherever we can. Again, thanks everyone, and good luck with your stores. And if in about an hour you'll get an email showcasing where this webinar will be recorded. If you want to review it later on, again, it'll be on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/3dcart. So thanks again, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you all.